The United States has a long and complex history with organized crime. From the streets of New York to the alleys of Chicago, powerful criminal families have left an indelible mark on the nation.
Before they created the 5 families, the head of each family was called like a father, so that's where they would get the name Godfather.
This video explores 15 of the most dangerous crime families in the USA. Number 1. The Gambino crime family, a legacy of power and violence. The Gambino crime family, one of the 5 families that dominate organized crime in New York City, has a long and bloody history. Named after Carlo Gambino, who took control of the family in 1957, the Gambinos have been involved in a wide range of criminal activities, including extortion, money laundering, and murder. Under the leadership of notorious figures like John Gotti, the family rose to prominence in the 1980s and 90s. Gotti, known as the Dapper Don for his expensive suits and media-friendly persona, orchestrated a series of high-profile hits that solidified his power. However, his flamboyant style also attracted the attention of law enforcement, and he was eventually convicted of murder and racketeering in 1992. Despite numerous convictions and setbacks, the Gambino family has proven resilient. They have adapted to changing times and technologies, diversifying their criminal portfolio to include cybercrime and international drug trafficking. The family's influence extends beyond New York, with ties to criminal organizations around the world. Number 2. The Chicago Outfit. From Al Capone to modern times. The Chicago Outfit, also known as the Capone Organization, is an Italian-American organized crime syndicate based in Chicago, Illinois. With roots dating back to the early 1910s, the outfit rose to infamy under the leadership of Al Capone during the Prohibition era. Capone, a ruthless and charismatic figure, took control of the outfit in 1925. Under his reign, the organization flourished, monopolizing the illegal liquor trade and expanding into other illicit activities such as gambling, prostitution, and extortion. Capone's wealth and power were legendary, and he became a symbol of the lawlessness and corruption of the time. While Capone was eventually convicted of tax evasion in 1931, the outfit continued to thrive under a succession of leaders. In the decades following Capone's downfall, the organization adapted to new criminal opportunities, such as labor racketeering and loan sharking. They also forged alliances with other criminal groups, including the New York Mafia families. The outfit's influence extended beyond the criminal underworld, with ties to politicians, labor unions, and legitimate businesses. This corruption and infiltration of mainstream society allowed the organization to operate with relative impunity for decades. In recent years, law enforcement crackdowns and internal power struggles have weakened the outfit. Many high-ranking members have been convicted or have died, and the organization has lost some of its former power and influence. However, the Chicago outfit remains a significant presence in the city's underworld, adapting to new criminal markets such as illegal gambling and drug trafficking. Number 3. Hells Angels, the notorious outlaw motorcycle gang. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club, founded in 1948 in California, is perhaps the most notorious outlaw motorcycle gang in the world. While the club maintains that it is simply a group of motorcycle enthusiasts, law enforcement agencies have long considered the Hells Angels a criminal organization. The Hells Angels have been involved in a wide range of illegal activities, including drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, and violent crimes. The club's reputation for violence has been cemented by high-profile incidents, such as the 1969 Altamont Free Concert, where a member of the Hells Angels killed a concert-goer while providing security for the event. The club has a hierarchical structure, with local chapters reporting to regional and national leaders. Membership is tightly controlled, and prospective members must undergo a lengthy vetting process. The Hells Angels also have a strict code of conduct, which includes a commitment to loyalty and secrecy. Despite numerous law enforcement efforts to dismantle the organization, the Hells Angels have proven resilient. They have expanded internationally with chapters in dozens of countries around the world. In recent years, the club has sought to improve its public image, engaging in charitable activities and claiming to be misunderstood by society. Number 4. MS-13. The transnational threat of Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, also known as Mara Salvatrucha, is a transnational criminal gang that originated in Los Angeles in the 1970s and 80s. The gang was initially formed by Salvadoran immigrants who had fled the Civil War in their home country. Today, Mississippi 13 is known for its extreme violence and has become a significant threat to public safety in the United States and Central America. The gang's name is derived from Mara, a Central American term for gang, and Salvatrucha, which refers to Salvadoran guerrilla fighters. MS-13 has a decentralized structure, with individual cliques operating independently while still maintaining ties to the larger organization. The gang is known for its ruthless tactics, including the use of machetes to attack and intimidate rivals and victims. MS-13's criminal activities are wide-ranging and include drug trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, and murder. The gang has been particularly active in the drug trade, working with Mexican cartels to transport and distribute illicit substances. MS-13 has also been involved in human trafficking, exploiting the vulnerability of immigrants seeking to cross the U.S.-Mexico border. One of the most alarming aspects of MS-13 is its willingness to use extreme violence to further its goals. The gang has been responsible for numerous high-profile murders, often targeting rival gang members and those who refuse to comply with their demands. MS-13's brutality has made it one of the most feared criminal organizations in the Americas. Efforts to combat MS-13 have been complicated by the gang's transnational nature and its ability to recruit new members from vulnerable populations. Law enforcement agencies in the United States and Central America have collaborated to target the gang's leadership and disrupt its operations. However, the deep-rooted social and economic conditions that contribute to the gang's growth, such as poverty and lack of opportunity, remain significant challenges. Number 5. Crips and Bloods, the bitter rivalry that shaped urban America. The Crips and Bloods, two of the most notorious street gangs in the United States, have a long and complex history that has shaped the urban landscape of America. Originating in Los Angeles in the late 1960s and early 1970s, these gangs have been locked in a bitter rivalry that has claimed countless lives and contributed to a culture of violence and fear in inner-city communities. The Crips were founded first, emerging from a group of young African-American men who banded together for protection and social support in the face of poverty, racism, and police brutality. The gang quickly grew in size and influence, engaging in criminal activities such as drug trafficking and armed robbery. The Bloods, originally formed as an alliance of smaller street gangs to counter the growing power of the Crips, soon became their chief rival. The rivalry between the Crips and Bloods has been marked by a cycle of retaliatory violence, with each gang seeking to avenge perceived slights and establish dominance over the other. This has led to a proliferation of guns and drugs in the communities where these gangs operate, as well as a breakdown of social order and a culture of fear. The impact of the Crips and Bloods has extended far beyond Los Angeles. As gang members have migrated to other cities and states, they have established new chapters and brought their violent tactics with them. Today, the Crips and Bloods have a presence in virtually every major city in the United States, as well as in many smaller towns and rural areas. Number 6. The Sinaloa Cartel. Mexico's drug empire reaches far into the U.S. The Sinaloa Cartel, one of the most powerful and influential drug trafficking organizations in the world, has a long and deadly history that reaches deep into the United States. Based in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, the cartel has been responsible for smuggling massive quantities of drugs, including cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and marijuana, into the U.S. for decades. The cartel's success can be attributed to its sophisticated organizational structure, which includes a network of producers, transporters, and distributors that operate across the Americas. The Sinaloa Cartel has also been known to form alliances with other criminal organizations, including street gangs in the United States, to facilitate the distribution of drugs in cities and towns across the country. Under the leadership of notorious drug lords like Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the Sinaloa Cartel has become known for its ruthless tactics and willingness to use violence to maintain control over its territory and eliminate rivals. The cartel has been linked to thousands of murders in Mexico as well as to a culture of corruption that has allowed it to operate with relative impunity. The impact of the Sinaloa Cartel's activities on the United States has been significant. The influx of cheap, high-purity drugs has fueled addiction and overdose epidemics in communities across the country, while the violence and corruption associated with the drug trade have strained law enforcement resources and undermined public safety. Number 7. The Aryan Brotherhood. White supremacy behind bars. The Aryan Brotherhood, a notorious white supremacist prison gang, has a long and violent history that has made it one of the most feared and influential criminal organizations in the United States. Founded in the mid-1960s by a group of white inmates in California's San Quentin State Prison, the Aryan Brotherhood has since expanded to prisons and communities across the country. The gang's ideology is rooted in white supremacy and anti-Semitism, with members often sporting Nazi tattoos and other racist symbols. However, the Aryan Brotherhood's criminal activities extend far beyond hate crimes and include drug trafficking, extortion, and murder for hire. Inside prisons, the Aryan Brotherhood has established itself as a dominant force, using violence and intimidation to control the drug trade and other illicit activities. Members of the gang are known for their fierce loyalty to one another and their willingness to use brutality to maintain their power and influence. The Aryan Brotherhood's reach extends beyond prison walls, with members often maintaining their ties to the gang after their release. This has allowed the organization to establish a presence in communities across the United States, where it engages in a range of criminal activities and spreads its hateful ideology. Number 8. The Bonano, Columbo, Lucasi, and Genovesi families, New York's Mafia dynasties. Alongside the Gambino crime family, the Bonano, Columbo, Lucasi, and Genovesi families make up the notorious 5 families that have dominated organized crime in New York City for decades. Each of these families has its own unique history and criminal traditions, but all have been involved in a wide range of illegal activities, from racketeering and extortion to drug trafficking and murder. The Bonano crime family, founded by Joseph Bonano in the 1920s, has been one of the most resilient and adaptable of the 5 families. Despite numerous convictions and internal power struggles, the family has managed to maintain its influence in the criminal underworld, particularly in the realm of labor racketeering and the construction industry. The Columbo crime family, named after Joseph Columbo, has been marked by periods of intense violence and instability, often as a result of power struggles within the family itself. Despite these challenges, the Columbos have remained a significant force in the New York underworld, with a particular focus on union corruption and gambling operations. The Lucasi crime family, founded by Gaetano Lucasi, has been known for its tight-knit structure and its involvement in a wide range of criminal activities, from drug trafficking to murder for hire. The family has also been linked to corruption in the garment industry and has maintained close ties to labor unions. The Genovese crime family, widely considered the most powerful and influential of the 5 families, has a long and storied history dating back to the early days of the American Mafia. Named after Vito Genovesi, who took control of the family in the 1950s, the Genoveses have been involved in a wide range of criminal enterprises, from the heroin trade to illegal gambling operations. Throughout their history, the 5 families have been the target of numerous law enforcement investigations and prosecutions, with many high-ranking members serving lengthy prison sentences. However, the families have proven remarkably resilient, often adapting to new criminal opportunities and finding ways to maintain their power and influence. Number 9. The Mexican Mafia, a prison gang's ruthless control. The Mexican Mafia, also known as La M.A., is a powerful and ruthless prison gang that has extended its influence far beyond the walls of the penal system. Founded in the late 1950s by a group of Mexican-American inmates in California's Doyle Vocational Institution, the Mexican Mafia has since grown into one of the most feared and respected criminal organizations in the United States. Despite its name, the Mexican Mafia is not directly connected to the Mexican drug cartels that operate south of the border. Instead, the gang has focused on consolidating power within the prison system and exerting control over street-level crime in the Hispanic neighborhoods of Southern California and beyond. Members of the Mexican Mafia are known for their fierce loyalty to the organization and their willingness to use violence to maintain their power. The gang has been involved in a wide range of criminal activities, from drug trafficking and extortion to murder and witness intimidation. One of the Mexican Mafia's most significant sources of power is its ability to control the flow of drugs and other contraband within the prison system. By using a combination of violence and intimidation, the gang has been able to establish a virtual monopoly over the prison drug trade, generating huge profits for its members and associates. Number 10. The Black Guerilla Family. Revolutionary Roots, Criminal Evolution. The Black Guerilla Family, BGF, a powerful prison gang with roots in the revolutionary politics of the 1960s, has evolved over the decades into a major player in the world of organized crime. Founded in 1966 by George Jackson, a former member of the Black Panther Party, the BGF initially focused on promoting Black power and anti-capitalist ideology within the prison system. However, as the BGF grew in size and influence, it began to shift its focus toward more traditional criminal activities, such as drug trafficking, extortion, and murder for hire. The gang's leadership structure, which emphasizes loyalty and obedience to a central authority, has allowed it to maintain a high level of discipline and cohesion, even as its membership has expanded beyond the prison walls. On the streets, the BGF has established itself as a major force in the drug trade, particularly in the trafficking of heroin and cocaine. The gang has also been involved in a wide range of other criminal activities, from bank robberies and armored car heists to contract killings and witness intimidation. One of the BGF's most notable characteristics is its ability to forge alliances with other criminal organizations, both within the prison system and on the outside. The gang has been known to work closely with other Black prison gangs, such as the Bloods and the Crips, as well as with Latino and white supremacist groups when it is mutually beneficial. Efforts to combat the BGF have been complicated by the gang's highly disciplined and secretive nature, as well as its ability to recruit new members both within and outside of the prison system. Law enforcement agencies have used a variety of tactics to disrupt the gang's activities, from undercover operations and wiretaps to targeted prosecutions of key leaders. Despite these efforts, the BGF remains a significant force in the world of organized crime, with a presence in prisons and communities across the United States. As long as there is money to be made from illegal activities, the BGF will likely continue to find ways to exploit those opportunities, using a combination of revolutionary rhetoric and criminal ruthlessness to maintain its power and influence. Number 11. 18th Street Gang, the transnational threat of a former LA street gang. The 18th Street Gang, also known as Barrio 18, is a transnational criminal organization that has its roots in the streets of Los Angeles. Founded in the 1960s by Mexican-American youth who were excluded from other local gangs, the 18th Street Gang has since grown into one of the largest and most feared criminal organizations in the Western Hemisphere. Originally focused on defending its territory against rival gangs, the 18th Street Gang has evolved over the decades into a major player in the international drug trade. The gang's members have been involved in a wide range of criminal activities, from drug trafficking and extortion to human smuggling and murder. One of the key factors behind the 18th Street Gang's success has been its ability to expand beyond its original base in Los Angeles. In the 1990s, a wave of deportations of gang members from the United States to Central America helped to spread the gang's influence to countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Today, the 18th Street Gang has a presence in dozens of cities across the United States, as well as in many parts of Central and South America. The transnational nature of the 18th Street Gang has made it a particularly difficult organization to combat. The gang's members are highly mobile, able to move easily across borders and establish new cells in foreign countries. The gang's ties to the international drug trade have also given it access to vast financial resources, allowing it to corrupt law enforcement and political officials in many of the countries where it operates. Number 12. The Simon City Royals, from greasers to gangsters. The Simon City Royals, a Chicago-based street gang with a long and colorful history, has evolved over the decades from a group of rebellious youth to a full-fledged criminal organization. The gang was founded in the 1950s by a group of young men who were inspired by the greaser subculture popularized by movies like The Wild One and Rebel Without a Cause. Over time, the Simon City Royals began to shift their focus from street-level brawling to more organized criminal activities, such as drug trafficking and extortion. The gang's leadership structure, which emphasized loyalty and obedience to a central authority, allowed it to maintain a high level of discipline and cohesion as it expanded its operations. Today, the Simon City Royals have a presence in many parts of the United States, particularly in the Midwest and Southwest. The gang has been involved in a wide range of criminal activities, from drug dealing and robbery to murder and witness intimidation. Number 13. The impact of organized crime on American society. The impact of organized crime on American society has been profound and far-reaching, affecting everything from the economy and politics to public health and safety. For more than a century, criminal organizations like the ones profiled in this video have exploited the cracks in American society, using violence, corruption, and intimidation to accumulate wealth and power at the expense of ordinary citizens. One of the most significant impacts of organized crime has been on the economy. Criminal organizations have long been involved in a wide range of illicit activities, from drug trafficking and gambling to extortion and money laundering. These activities have siphoned billions of dollars out of the legitimate economy, depriving communities of much-needed resources and fueling corruption and instability. Organized crime has also had a corrosive effect on American politics, with criminal organizations using their vast financial resources to influence elections and shape public policy. From the corrupt political machines of the early 20th century to the more subtle influence peddling of today, organized crime has long sought to subvert the democratic process for its own benefit. The impact of organized crime on public health and safety has been particularly devastating. The drug trade, which is dominated by criminal organizations, has fueled addiction and overdose epidemics in communities across the country, while gang violence has claimed countless lives and left entire neighborhoods living in fear. Efforts to combat organized crime have been ongoing for decades, with law enforcement agencies at the federal, state, and local levels using a variety of tactics to disrupt criminal activities and bring perpetrators to justice. However, the deep-rooted nature of many criminal organizations, as well as their ability to adapt to changing circumstances, have made this a difficult and ongoing challenge. Number 14. Law enforcement's fight against dangerous criminal organizations. Law enforcement agencies at the federal, state, and local levels have been engaged in a long and difficult struggle against the dangerous criminal organizations profiled in this video. From the FBI's efforts to bring down the 5 families of New York to the DEA's ongoing battle against the Mexican drug cartels, law enforcement has used a variety of tactics and strategies to disrupt criminal activities and bring perpetrators to justice. One of the key tools in law enforcement's arsenal has been the use of intelligence gathering and undercover operations. By infiltrating criminal organizations and gathering evidence of their activities, law enforcement has been able to build strong cases against key leaders and dismantle entire networks of criminals. Another important strategy has been the use of targeted prosecutions and asset seizures. By focusing on the most serious offenders and seizing the proceeds of their criminal activities, law enforcement has been able to disrupt the flow of money and resources that sustains these organizations. In recent years, law enforcement has also increasingly focused on the transnational nature of many criminal organizations. By working closely with international partners and using tools like extradition and mutual legal assistance treaties, law enforcement has been able to extend its reach beyond national borders and target criminals who operate on a global scale. Despite these efforts, however, the fight against dangerous criminal organizations remains an ongoing challenge. The deep-rooted nature of many of these groups, as well as their ability to adapt to changing circumstances and exploit new opportunities, means that law enforcement must constantly evolve its tactics and strategies to keep up. Number 15. The future of organized crime in the United States. As we have seen throughout this video, organized crime has been a persistent and evolving threat to American society for more than a century. From the street gangs of the early 20th century to the transnational criminal organizations of today, These groups have exploited the cracks in our social and economic fabric to accumulate wealth and power at the expense of ordinary citizens. Looking to the future, it is clear that the threat of organized crime will continue to evolve and adapt to changing circumstances. As new technologies and opportunities emerge, criminal organizations will undoubtedly seek to exploit them for their own gain. At the same time, the ongoing challenges of economic inequality, social exclusion, and political corruption will continue to provide fertile ground for these groups to operate.